Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Danielle, aka Stitcherista here on YouTube, and today is Wednesday, March 1st. So happy March, new month. Today has been actually a very busy day. I had my physical today at the doctor, and it's one of the things on my gratitude list, which I will get to because it's the last thing. So, number one on the list, Subway. I am fairly picky when I really think about it. I'm fairly picky with food that I get outside of this house. And when I find something I like, I tend to order that every single time because I know I like it. Subway is one of those things. I love their tuna. So whenever we go, I just get a very simple 6-inch tuna on an Italian bread with pepper jack cheese. Well, today, because I had to fast because I was getting blood work done, by the time I got home from the physical, it was fairly late. I mean, it was like 11:30-ish, and I had a tiny bit of breakfast. And then when I sold something on eBay, so I was going to go to the UPS store. That's one of my things on my list too. Go to the UPS store to ship it, and there's a Subway right on the way. So I said, I'm going to stop on the way back, get a tuna sub. So that's what I did. But yeah, so number one, Subway, good tuna. I love it. And actually, I could put a number 6 on here. When I really stop and think about all of the things that are available to us in this world, it's amazing. The restaurants, the apps, the products to buy, the books to read, the movies to watch. I mean, we really have so much at our disposal, truly. Okay, number 2, UPS store in our area. Really good employees. They're always very helpful, and I like going in there. They're very, very nice people. Number 3, Bill. He is such a hard worker, and he has such a good work ethic. He actually called me today and was like, I have a part-time job now. I'm like, what? One of his old co-workers has his own business, and he needed somebody on Sundays. And Bill's like, we don't really do anything on Sunday anyway. I said, well, we go to the grocery store in the morning, and then his daughter usually comes over for lunch. And I said, I can go to the store by myself. That's no problem. And I said, then we could have them come over for dinner instead of lunch, because he's probably going to work an 8-hour day. And I said, well, I don't want you to work yourself to death, right? But he just really wants to do it. And I can't say that I will balk at the extra money coming into our household, which will be very helpful. So yeah, I mean, he is one of the hardest working people I know besides my dad. All right, number 4, finding my favorite candy, which I will talk about in a second. And then number 5, my blood pressure was good. I have had problems with my blood pressure in the last year or two, and it was very good, and I was able to get my blood drawn without issue. So like the last time that I went to get blood taken, and I've never had an issue. I mean, I've had physicals and blood taken for a while now and never had an issue until the last time. The girls couldn't do it. 2 people tried. My arm was all bruised up, and they're like, you have to come back the next day and make sure you drink water. I had no idea that you're supposed to hydrate your veins. So I drank a bunch of water that day, went the next day. Somebody else completely different did the blood draw and had no issue. So now when I went today, I sort of have anxiety about it because I'm like, okay, the same 2 people were in the lab, but I had someone totally different. And I said to her, they usually use a small needle because there is different size needles they can use. I said, because sometimes they've had trouble. And she did it with no issue. And I hardly even felt it. It was fine. So I was very, very grateful for that. And I really tried to sit there before I went in there and thought, God's got this handled. He's got it in control, right? And when I went in there, now under normally a while ago. When I have to sit and wait for something, like waiting in a doctor's office, I would be very impatient and become irritated. Today I did not. So my doctor is a very busy doctor in that practice. And I sat, bra and underwear on, because physical you have to completely get undressed, with paper gown on, and she didn't come in until 25 minutes after my appointment. And when I was sitting there, I thought, it's not my timing, it's God's timing. None of it's our timing. None of it. So I thought to myself, maybe he is saving me from an accident. The timing is, however, whatever time she gets in there is supposed to be that time. So I calmed down and I wasn't irritated at all. So that is a huge thing for me, because I have expressed irritation and impatience a lot. But okay, so after I left there, I wanted to stop and get single serving creamer instead of buying a big bottle and pouring it each day, because I only use a tablespoon. So I thought that would be so easy. I said, I'll stop at Safeway, which was literally right around the corner. And I was like, you know what? I'm also going to stop and get a Starbucks coffee, because Starbucks was across the street. And I forgot that Starbucks is in the Safeway. Yeah, that was awesome. So I went in there. Now, I have to preface this by saying, Bill and I, my favorite chocolate candy is toffee. It's not easy to find it. Bill and I we looked at 3 different stores over the weekend, couldn't find it. And I feel like when you actively go look for something, you never find it. At least that seems to come with me. When I stop looking for it, it's put in my path. Okay, so I go in the aisle and I find the coffee creamer. Now, every store obviously has different spots for their coffee. Safeway's is like, or at least the Safeway I went to, is like all the way down by the end where the bread is. So I got these, hazelnut. Great. The coffee at Safeway is in the same aisle as the candy. And when I walked down there and I got this, I turned around and I was literally right in front of the candy aisle. And when I looked down, what do you think I see? Let's go. I was like, this was God speak. This was fate. This was completely, when you're not searching for it. Now I know Safeway carries it because they had a bunch of boxes. So if you have never had this candy and you like hazelnut and chocolate, this little cup here is caramel. There's a full hazelnut inside, and then this is chocolate. It's so good. And then I usually have trouble finding one of my favorite snacks. Now, when I was walking out, they had all of these snacks there, and I found it. These are hard to find. This is my favorite of this, the pretzel crisps, the honey mustard and onion. Hard to find it. Safeway has it. Now, of course, I got the little lecture from my doctor about my weight and my exercising. What's my diet like? I mean, she really questioned me, and I was completely honest. I didn't, most of the time you're like, oh yeah, I'm trying. And I said, she goes, even if you start with 5 minutes of exercise. And, if you've watched this channel for any length of time, I have lost and gained weight a couple times on this channel and battled it my whole adult life. I'm trying to have a different approach to it, where it's more about moderation for me than cutting out food groups entirely, which always backfires. So that's why, like, having this and having this, moderation. That's what I need to work on. So, but yeah, I really like my doctor. She's a really good doctor, and she does care. I can get the sense of that. But yeah, I'm hoping the next time I see her, I'll be seeing her in November of this year. So I'm hoping to have a little bit of a turnaround. But she was like, please don't feel like you have to exercise for 30 minutes. You know, start with 5 minutes. 5 minutes of exercise, whether it's yoga or something. And there's tons of things on YouTube. There's an 8-minute arm workout that I've done that doesn't feel like 8 minutes. So it's just me getting into that habit, which I was completely honest. I said, you know, when I have free time, I don't feel like exercising. I want to work on my needlework or do my diamond painting. She's like, yeah, a lot of people come up upon that. You know, you don't want to spend but 5 minutes, we all have 5 minutes, let's face it. Okay, so yesterday, I did not do any diamond painting. I have had the stitching bug for sure. I did finish watching the murders, that show on Netflix, 3 episodes. Holy moly. Lots of tragedy in that family. Unbelievable. Mouth was hanging open for most of it. So I finished watching that, and then I watched one of my favorite movies of all time, The Count of Monte Cristo, based on Alexander Dumas' book. So good, if you have not seen it. And then I started watching Staying Alive, which I also own. I have a bunch of movies that I bought on Amazon Prime over the years. And Staying Alive is the sequel to Saturday Night Fever. John Travolta, man, is he in good shape in this movie. Love this. It's very lighthearted, dancey. I like it. I love it. But I did do a good bit of stitching last night. So here is my progress. Let's hold something up. Oh, I'll tilt it. So I know, right? Doesn't it look so good? So good. So these 3 blocks here, I'm pretty sure they're the same color. So I'll probably work on that tonight. Because what I've been doing is when Bill goes to bed, I've been stitching and staying up till like 11. I've been staying up. So yeah, it's looking swimmingly, isn't it? And when you really hold it back, like, it's going to look amazing. Now, I have been playing with different count fabrics, and so I want to, for the bigger ones, like the watermelon tourmaline, which I really want to do because I absolutely love the pinks in that. I ordered what's really nice about 1, 2, 3 stitch is that they have small cuts of fabric. So I tried the 20 count Lugana. 1 strand is not good enough coverage. So then I really went looking. I ordered a small piece of 22 count, 25 count, and then 40 count even weave. They had a 40 count even weave, not linen. I got the 25 count in today, and when I look at it, I can see the holes. I can see the holes because if you look at Lugana is my favorite fabric for seeing the holes. Good lighting, readers. So I am going to do test stitching. I guarantee you 1 strand on the 25 count will be fine because that's what people use for heaven and earth designs. Because the watermelon tourmaline is like 189, I think, by 189. And I wanted it to be able to fit in an 11 by 11 Q-snap. I don't know, you think 190 divided by 25. It's almost 200 divided by 25 is 8. So it's probably 8 by 8, roughly, on 25 count fabric. And when you think about the detail in that, it's going to look so good. But like I said, I'm going to do some test stitching. I'm going to do some test stitching when I get the 22 count also, because I'll be very curious to see that. But yeah, it's nice to be able to just spend a couple dollars and get a piece of scrap fabric to try. And I tend to save the scrap fabrics too, just to try different things in the future, threads and all of that. Because who knows what's coming down the pike for cross stitch and needlework. I mean, things are being invented all the time, right? But yeah, isn't my piece coming along so swimmingly? And I'm liking it very much. So that's all I have to share with you. I hope you guys are all having a good week and a good Wednesday and a good start to March. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.